Hey, it's Andrew with DCS. Today, we're diving into the story of Southern Pine Dental, a single private dental practice located in Dothan, Alabama. A practice that went from a fixer-upper to a thriving dental business. We sit down with co-owner Carl Haynie. He partnered with his brother-in-law, who is a dentist, to open this practice. As a non-dentist, business-minded person, Carl noticed something immediately about Southern Pine Dental. They needed a revenue strategy. Let's hear from Carl, and if you want to check out the full written case study, it will be linked down below in the description.
We had been looking at multiple practices for months, trying to figure out the first one to buy. It looked interesting and saw that there was a lot of potential. There was a lot of low-hanging fruit that we felt like, man, we could go in and we could really fix this thing up. And that was when we kind of realized there's a lot of sweat equity to build up. It's kind of like remodeling a home. You have somebody come in and do the inspection and you see some of the problems, but as soon as you start tearing down walls and peeling things back, you realize there's a lot more problems than you realize. We knew that we were dealing with a lot. Everything was very old in the practice. And then we also saw from the numbers, from the reports that were being generated, that the demographics of patients, the collection rate spoke volumes to us. We knew that we were going to run into problems. There was an enormous amount of AR, over 400,000 when we bought the practice. So we knew something was not right. We couldn't tell. You obviously can't see the processes that are leading to those numbers, but when you're collecting 60% and you have over 400,000 in accounts receivable, you know something's not right from a process perspective. So every time I asked the question, we peeled back another layer of the onion, and we realized that there was a lot to fix. It was real quick that we realized we need help. We don't have the experience and the skill set in-house to be able to fix all of those problems. We're asking the right questions. We know what we need to fix, but we don't know how to fix it. And that's what led us to DCS. So first, our first solution was, hey, let's try and train ourselves. Let's figure out how to do this. We're smart people. Let's go ahead and do it ourselves. So we tried. But because insurances are involved in this, it is so tricky and it is so nuanced that once you felt like you understood the process with one insurance, you get to the next insurance and realize that it's different. From an insurance perspective, it is such a game that they are playing with us as a dental office. So I started looking online for somebody who was the expert in the field, and that's a term that I would use a lot when we're talking with DCS. You're talking to the experts. And we found that DCS had the best mix between expertise, pricing, and who we would be working with. It was clear that we would be working with an expert up front. And I'll mention that because I think it's important. You run into this a lot in dentistry where you talk to the salesperson and they sell you on some goods or service and get you all amped up, and then they hand you off to the implementation team or the execution team. And it's disappointing, to say the least. And that's been completely the opposite with DCS. So that's how we kind of learned about DCS, that we signed the contract and then we were off to the races. Within 2 to 3 months, we had fixed the collections problem. It took us another 3 months to fix the accounts receivable problem because there was a lot of follow-up and collections both on the insurance and the patient side. So there was a lot to collect. I would say by 6 months, we were in a really good state. The collections happened a little bit faster, and then the rest of the accounts receivable, we shored up with a few more months. So I've always been told the goal on collections is to collect 98% or more as a successful office. And we got there. You know, no more 6-figure AR, and the collections is up at or near 100%. Sometimes some months we're even over 100%. So it's a really simple message. Trust the experts. That's what we do in this industry, or what we try to preach. And I would say the same goes for revenue cycle management. There are a lot of people out there in offices that say, I've been doing insurance for 15, 20 years. But unless you've been training the right way, unless you're keeping up to date with the changes that happen on an annual basis, you don't really, I would say there's many people out there that claim to be experts in office that are not experts. And so it's been a huge help to work with a company who not only has the experts, but they're constantly refreshing their knowledge. They're going through trainings all the time to make sure that they're up to date on software, on the clearinghouses that we have to work with, the changes to the insurers that they're making every year, all of that, just staying on top of it. They're the experts at it. So you kind of have to trust the experts in order to make sure you're collecting everything that you should. And I will also add that the payback is not a hard calculation to make. And I know that a lot of doctors, every dollar counts, but as long as there's a return on your investment, it's worth it. And we have made way more money as a result of working with DCS than we've spent. Way more. It's probably 10x or if not more. The payback is there. If you feel like you don't know, it's worth a call. Just to have them look through it, diagnose it, and see where they think you're at, see where they think they can help you. Because ours was a very clear case, but there are some where you might think that you're collecting 98% plus, but you're not collecting everything that you could be collecting, or the reimbursement rate that you're getting from the insurance is not good enough. And they can help with all of those things to help you make a lot more money in your practice. And that revenue cycle management is so critical to the business, and it is so different from the skill set of dentistry or the skill sets that you see and need on the clinical side.